Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is Life's Podcast with Sujata and Coach Les. And we are here tonight to discuss some of just life's very interesting issues from a couple of different perspectives. I am here in the United States in Minnesota, and my friend Sujata is on the other side of the world in Singapore. And we are here to share on different platforms some of the stories and some of the stuff that is going on in the world, some of the fun issues. Sujata is an author of a book called Against All Odds, No Retakes, No Manuals. Real life lessons, and she just recently released a book, and now I'm forgetting what was the name of that book again, Sujata.
The crime fiction. Wink.
Yes, Wink. There we go. And we have chosen to create this podcast video cast on a Friday night to have some fun with people from around the world and inviting people to come up on stage on a social media platform called Clubhouse and invite them into the conversation. And our goal is to just share wisdom across and around the globe and share viewpoints about situations that are going on in the world and have a little bit of a fun debate discussion. And sometimes we're on the same page and sometimes we may not be. And the thing that makes it real and makes it very interesting is no matter where we are on our viewpoints, we love each other, we care for each other, and we continue to grow and learn together. And there always seems to be a place where even if we differ in the beginning, we can find a common ground to stand on. And for me, this is the beginning of what's possible in the world of transforming the planet through communication. Too often, people quickly shut down communication. You have a different viewpoint from mine. I should be alive and you should be dead. And boom, we go to war. And that is such a 3-year-old, 4-year-old conversation. And not 3 years as an expansive time, but as a 3-year-old toddler dealing with a 4-year-old toddler, that's all they know. I'm going to pick up my toys and go away. And you give adults those kind of toys, what ends up happening is war, guns, violence, defense, and what I would call the animalistic monkey brain takes over. And we're here to discuss topics and share what's possible when we continue to use our frontal cortex and hypothalamus as opposed to reverting to the monkey brain. How's that for an interesting introduction today, huh, Sujata?
Very well said. I don't have to say anything anymore. But that's what I like. You set the tone and summarize the topic very well.
So I want to say hello to Dawn and to Clayton and to Wade. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming up and stepping into the ring with us. They are on Clubhouse with us and really appreciate them. And I think it would be fun. I'm just to give those of you that maybe this is your first time listening on a Friday night, I am an integrity coach. I work with businesses and individuals that are looking to level up their communication, take a look outside the box ways to grow their business, to create balance in their workplace, both with themselves, their families, their faith, and also looking in today's marketplace. We struggle so much with how to keep employees excited, enrolled, engaged, and thrilled about being in a workplace. And our experience has been that there's a new day, a new dawning of a new age for that we're working with and coming up with creative ideas to keep employees happy. That was our conversation on the Against All Odds podcasts, Wednesday and Thursday. And tonight, I just thought it would be fun to take on a conversation that Sujata and I were having. I think it was last night, and it was talking about how people feel that they have a right to break rules, to come up onto or come into somebody else's home, quote unquote, onto their stage and share their views and share their opinions and share their philosophies, even if it means breaking the guidelines or the rules of the room. And there was this old saying I thought of, Sujata, that I'm, when in Rome, do as the Romans. And when you're visiting a foreign country, you don't take your country's views and thoughts and go, well, you have to give me my thoughts and views because they're mine. Well, wait a minute. You came to a different country with a different set of rules and guidelines. Why would you expect them to accept yours and not have you accept theirs? And I think we live in this world today where people are so misaligned with their expectations of what is their right, that they walk into these situations and believe that my thoughts are the right ones. You have to agree with my thoughts when you're in my company. Well, what if you flip that 180 degrees? How does that give the respect to the other person if they have your view? And that's, to me, how people get into fights. As opposed to, if I come into your house and I come in and drink the water that's coming through your pipes and your taps out of your cups and use your bathroom and use your couch and your bed, there's a responsibility that I've been taught that is to respect the code of conduct of the place I'm at. And I think today, somehow, people have this misconception that they have some right to bring their personal bubble and have everybody bow to their bubble. And to me, it is so warped, selfish, inconsiderate, egotistical, primate. The place for those type of individuals is in a small box where they can call it their own. And if they're nice and they ask for food, maybe somebody would be nice enough to give it to them because they don't have any concept of what it takes for a farmer to go through what a farmer has to do to grow the product, to then bring it to the marketplace, to have it shipped to a store, pay employees to make it look good so that you purchase it, so that you have it at your home for them to come and eat. And sometimes it's like, well, it's this completely blind thinking of, where's the food on my plate in front of me? It's like, well, have you done anything to get to deserve that plate of food? Have you paid somebody? Have you done a service? Have you worked for it? Have you earned it in any way, shape, or form? And I think today there's, so many governments around the world are catering to people that are unwilling and undesiring of or untrained to fend for themselves. And parents are doing such a poor job of educating their children because they give them everything. There's no sense of value. There's no sense of responsibility. And by the way, I'm stereotyping here for the sake of this discussion. And we end up with this conditional environment of people then pick up their belongings, drive to a new location, a new country. They fly there because they get thrown out of their old country. They come to this new country and they expect the new country to bow to their demands. And it's just, to me, it's mind boggling because when I came to this country, to the United States, where I became a citizen, I had to earn my citizenship. I spent time in the military. I go and earn a paycheck. I pay taxes. I do missions work, and I do my best to support the community in whatever way, shape, or form I can at some time or another. And for me, it's a balance. So the question becomes that I'd love to for us to talk about and is, one, what do you think about the situation that I've kind of painted a small picture of? And what are your views and how are we going to shift this tide of entitlement? Because it really is a tide of entitlement. All right, Sujata, I've spoken for approximately 6 minutes nonstop. I'm going to hand the mic to you.
Okay. You do multitasking very well, that you talk and you also look at the time that you're talking. I can't do that. Anyway, so here is my two penny bit of worth on this topic. Is It's a very huge topic, and when we talk of respect, there's a lack of respect at a basic human level, some of it which you touched. If we don't appreciate people with differing views, first and foremost, the communication is not going to go anywhere. And most of the problems in today's world is because of the communication, which arises from a point of view that it's my view or the highway. It's like if you don't meet, whether it is politics, whether it's sex, whether it's religion, whether it is, anything, it could be just, if you're not affiliated with this kind of an activity which I do. For example, in certain countries and certain communities, you have to blend in with them. So if you want to be friends with somebody and they are a group of classical music people and you don't, that means what? That you can't have a conversation with them, or you don't fit into the crowd. It's like that. So the whole thing stems from trying to, on one level, fit in, and on the other level, you want to have your views or your thought processes or your ideologies as, the gospel truth. Okay, and that is not how anything happens. And we are nobody is actually creating a culture where we tell each other that, look, we can be different, we can, this thing, but why can't we have a civilized conversation? I see it all the time and I'm so tired of it. Any topic like these topics I told you about, politics and religion and all that, it leads to fiery debates, discussions, and breakdown of relationships, even with the family. They are so polarized, this one on this side of the fence and the other on the other side of the fence, and they actually break the relationship and everything just because their ideologies, or it doesn't match. So the few who rule, or you can call it government, media, whatever you call it, I find it very amazing that how a few can dictate the masses. why don't the masses learn to think for themselves? Why don't they learn to think, observe, have a little bit of time to research before just shooting off? you know you may not know the entire truth. Wouldn't you like to hear all the pieces of the puzzle? you know there's the simple thing, like, we give our children games and puzzles to play. Why don't we have that? Making the puzzle itself was a task of actually building patience. It's not that you give the puzzle to a child to just fit the pieces. It also teaches a child to think of where to put this piece, how to fit it in. And it requires a lot of patience also at times to get the puzzle in place. The same thing goes for communication. Why don't we think before we speak? If we are, then we talk of mindfulness. See, my question is that we are such oxymoron creatures. We will talk of mindfulness, but we will not mind our language, or the temperance or anything about it when we have a conversation. So, do those things matter, or do your relationships matter? Is it sometimes a little bit easier to actually listen and then give a constructive kind of a thought, instead of just shooting off from where you are? I think it only raises your blood pressure, it raises agitation and all that, and it doesn't do you any good. However, we don't seem to learn all that. So, yes, it's a debate and discussion, I think, on how we should can change our mindset, because at the end of the day, it all boils down to mindset. That's what I feel. I'd like to hear what people in the audience have to say.
Mm, thank you so much, Sujata. Hi, Dawn. Good evening. How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. Thank you.
Are you ready for this topic?
This is a hot topic.
Hello, Friday night, right?
Yes, Friday night. Here we are. Wow. So the way I guess what I would like to say about it is I absolutely agree with you. It's a total lack of respect. It's a loaded topic, though, because it has many layers to it. And from my perspective of being on Earth as Dawn for the last almost 47 years, what we're going through is a process of healing, and it's an ugly healing, and we're doing it collectively all at the same time. And it looks like we're completely falling apart, but it's a symptom to me and what my community expresses of coming out of a heavy oppressive state. And I'll just speak to myself. In my process of coming out of a very traumatic and oppressive community and household, I had to buck like a horse to break free. And in the process, I had to be disrespectful, what people would consider disrespectful. And the reason why is because I had to break chains that had been placed on myself and my community and my people for so long. And as you break free, they try to put more chains on you. And so what happens is all of these different symptoms arise out of like this common disrespect for humanity and how humans have been treated. And through my process of healing and like self-reflection and going through everything that I've been going through, and then working with like at-risk youth and gangs and homelessness and really heavy oppressive, communities that have been oppressed. Even I worked with the Nambe tribe and different tribes in New Mexico. I realized that the youth can tell you better than any adult. And at one point, I, at one point, was very disrespectful because I had to break out of oppression. All of the different things, all of the different abuses that I was experiencing from multiple avenues coming at me. And through the process, and I did it with God, and everybody has their different way that they do it. Through the process, that's where I learned, like, okay, now that you're breaking out of this, it's about integrity. It's about rebuilding respect. It's about reconnecting, being able to love again, being able to receive it, being able to give it, and things of those natures. But all of us are going through this at the same time. And that's what's making it difficult, because everybody's on a different path. Everybody's on a different frequency. Everybody's experiencing different traumas, at different abuse on different levels. Different communities are experiencing different things. Different people are trying to break free. We still have people enslaved on this planet. There's a lot of disrespect rolling down from our leaders all the way down to the grassroots, into the communities, and people are trying to break free. So it's going to be ugly. Do I like it? No. Half the time I don't even want to be here, because this is a challenge. This is a challenge that I don't even know how I ended up here on earth. But while I'm here, what I try to do as I'm healing and rebuilding myself and reconnecting to the human that I was created to be, which is a loving, compassionate, kind, respectful human, I try to give back. And I work with at-risk youth, and I work with gang members, and I work with people who a lot of the world has thrown away like a piece of trash and don't want to deal with and don't want to acknowledge. And I try to, give them what has helped me. I try to share in any way that I can. And I do it because I'm grateful for what God has done for me. And so I feel like it's my duty. But through the process, the healing has been, the healing itself has been traumatic, because one must face themselves to heal themselves. And a lot of people don't even want to do that part. So they act out. All these people acting out at the same time while all this stuff is going on. And so I do see a huge disrespect on earth. But guess what? This is the situation that we've created by oppressing each other, putting chains on each other, being foul to each other. This is a result of our behavior towards each other. So it's a symptom of a root cause. So that's and that's the work that I do, and the groups that I used to study with. I used to do comedic studies and things of those nature. And that's especially for certain communities that are still being disrespected by leaders and different organizations, and the oppression that's taking place. People are trying to break free. And it's an ugly process of breaking free. And one must do it for themselves first before they can do it for anybody else. How many people do we have on this planet trying to do this all at the same time? It's ugly. It's going to be ugly. People are not treating each other right in the workplace or anywhere else. I'm being undermined at my job right now, and I don't even want to be there anymore. But every corporation I've ever been at has treated me that way because of the color of my skin. They've been racist. They've been sexist. Everything, and the list goes on and on and on. And people are tired. People are tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. The youth are tired. Everybody's tired. We failed the youth. The parents have been working 2 and 3 jobs. The school system, which is a joke, especially in the United States, has been, basically raising the children. The children have been raising themselves. The grandmothers are gone. The grandfathers are gone. The elders aren't there. The elders are the ones that are supposed to be the head of the community. smaller communities, smaller tribes. You know, you can't be responsible for large groups. You won't be effective. So you have so many people out here lost. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. There's no elders leading. Very few elders leading. People are on drugs. They're intoxicated. Their food is trash. It's garbage. It's poison. They're preaching and pushing money and all this material stuff. Folks are so, you can't even, the frequency, you know what I mean? Like it's all about materialistic things and accolades and awards and all this stuff that doesn't even matter to your life. And you're a soul, a spirit here in a human body that everybody's disrespecting the planet. They're disrespecting the animals. They're disrespecting the creation. And then they wonder why everything is imbalanced and out of order. There is no order. There is completely imbalanced. The soil is polluted. The water is polluted. The air is polluted. The food is polluted. So of course your mind is going to be polluted. You know, so it's heavy, but there's many layers to it. But if you simplify it, we're still in a state of oppression, and people are lost and confused, and they don't know what to do. So these are the symptoms that you're going to see in such an environment. And I'm done.
Dawn, awesome. Thank you so much. Dawn, you've set the stage. I love it. Thank you so much. I love having you here and just appreciate your candor, your openness. And, you know, it saddens me that what has happened and is happening to you exists out there. It is such, and for me, I look at this and it is such an easy thing to remedy. It could literally be remedied overnight. And yet people are so stubborn and so stuck in their point of view with their poop around their ankles. They love their own smell. And it could be so much different and so much more if they would release their poop. And, you know, and for me, that's what, this is the start of it. Like for me, this is the nexus of the opportunity right here with Sujata and I speaking with all of you across the globe. Maybe, just maybe, this will be the catalyst to a new conversation that trickles out there and becomes something radically different overnight. And it's possible. Sujata, did you want to share anything about what Dawn said?
No, I think, Dawn, it was well said. You know, really brought out all the points, and yeah, we can take it from there. I mean,
I felt like she was reading my script.
she was probably reading both our minds, and she quickly, like a fast processor of the mind, she quickly put two and two together and put it all out there.
Yeah. And I just want to say hello to the lioness, Namalakai, who just popped in. Hi, Susie. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Clayton. Great to see you. Hi, Consuela. Thank you for being here. Thanks for coming up. Bren, it's always good to see you. And Brother Wade, I'm going to hand the mic to you.
Hey, Coach S, how you and Sujata doing this evening?
We are rocking and rolling with ways that we're so inspired to make a difference in the world, Wade.
Amen. Okay. I was thinking when you said about how people come into someone's house, as you were referencing the rooms in Clubhouse, and this had to have been at least 40 years ago. Some friends of my father's had some friends with them, and they came over to my dad's house. And of course, my father was a smoker, and this is long before today. It wouldn't be such a big deal, but in that frame and era, especially, they actually asked my father to put his cigarette out. Now, to give you a little background, I live in a very small rural community. My father built a house we're talking about while he was unemployed. He got a bank loan and was able to do that. And to imagine somebody coming in and almost but demanding that he put out his cigarette, you can just imagine there was more than a little smoke flying. And when I think of that, and I was just a kid when this happened, and I thought about that as you said that it came out, and I thought about what Dawn had said about the elders, and Sujata said about it, and you said about it. You know, we basically take the senior citizens, shove them in what I call a warehouse, and they're no longer a part of our community that used to be, and that's where I'm making changes with my grandchildren. Their mom has to work. Well, me and their grandmother, we're stepping in and helping to raise those children and bring back, today we took them swimming at the Y and we brought them home and they said, we got to eat. I said, no, we got to get our chores done before supper. We played this game before. You guys eat and then you want to do other things and things don't happen. I said, but if you eat, or if you do your chores, you'll get to eat. And I think that's the problem. As you stated, Coach, the kids get everything. And when they become adults, they expect that somebody's going to pay their way, that everything should just fall on them and fall in their laps. And I remember my dad telling me as a kid, hey, Wade, if you get in trouble, you go to jail, don't waste your last phone call on me. Find somebody else. Meaning to me, in the same deal, he said, I'll help you with money, but if you need to borrow $500, you best have 250 of the 500 to begin with. And that's the way I was raised, and it's held me in good stead. I haven't went to jail, and I haven't acquired large debt. And I see so many people, and it's so unfortunate. It's just so unfortunate. My daughter and I was talking tonight. She's my adopted daughter, and she's I'm white and she's black, and I was telling her, I said, I don't see color. I see another person, and I'm going to help them. And if they're being somewhat reasonable and respectful, I see it as we work together. We're going to get further. And I see, like you were talking about, we've got people in the government They do act like toddlers, and they act like they're playing with toy soldiers. And it's so sad because it's real people's lives. It's affecting the civilians and those children in those countries, and not just in the Ukraine, as you mentioned, Coach Les. There's several skirmishes happening all over the world, and some of them are even in our cities between, and it troubles me because I wish people could see, if we loved one another, if we took care of one another. So many men don't understand that it's not how many women you've slept with. It's how you take care of a woman. It's being productive. It's honoring a woman. That's what a real man is. But Hollywood shows the exact opposite. We've lost our way. Our culture is just like, we've lost a good work ethic. We've lost chivalry. And I'm not saying all parts of chivalry were great. The parts that, where we took care, respected one another. I really pray about these things because I'm not one to give up hope. And I know you're not, Coach. I know Sujata isn't either, or we wouldn't even be having the conversation. We're having the conversation in hopes that somehow we can find that solution. Because I think we all know what the problem is. But now we have to figure out what the solution that is and help to, it's challenging. It's challenging to talk to people that don't understand. They just don't understand that. Some people talk about karma, but the Bible speaks to this. You're going to reap what you sow. A violent man gets more violence, and yet happens. Even today, a lot of our movies actually show villains being the heroes. That's the winning side to be on. And it's I just hope, and pray that we can somehow. Okay. So since my audio spread out a little bit on me, I'm going to land my pen there.
You're breaking up, Wade.
Back over to Coach Buck.
Wade, you're breaking up quite a bit. I don't know about the others.
Yeah, it suddenly went bad on him. All right, Wade, thank you so much. And with that, Sister Jeanette, are you there?
I'm here, Coach. What is the question?
Well, the stage is...
Janet, before you share your wisdom, I just want to tell Wade that I really liked what he said about how you treat women, because I think that is very important. There's a saying, what you do may be forgotten, but people will not forget how you made them feel. So I think that is important, how we treat each other, especially women. So I really like that coming from a man. Thank you. And now, Janet, it's all over to you.
I like what he mentioned. Yeah, there's a lot of things that people they've lost. I don't know. They just seem to go with the flow, like whatever looks cool, and it may not look cool. It may just, be degrading for them, but they don't see it. Or
it's like there's a machismo that they rise up to or something.
Yeah, but it's from wanting to be like everybody. Oh, if they're laughing, it must be a good time, so I'll do it.
Yes. Yep.
And when you look at that, you're like, that really isn't funny, and it really doesn't compliment you. It just makes you look like you follow whatever everybody else is doing, and that they don't grasp that. They don't see themselves. They don't take the time to look at themselves in or the reflection of what they're doing at the moment. One of the things I used to do, I used to teach cheer and dance to 8 to 10-year-olds. I'm going to tell you, it's not good to teach 8 to 10-year-olds to twerk. Okay, it is not something you teach 8 to 10-year-olds to do. That isn't what you do. It's an art. Dance is an art. It's not meant to do things like that. So these are things that I see. And what are we teaching our children to be? They're going to be followers like everybody else. Hey, it looks good. I got to laugh, so I'm just going to do it. That's not what we do. There's so many ways to have a good time, so many ways to enjoy life. I don't have to drink to get drunk. I don't have to do foolish things or be disrespectful to people and laugh at it because everybody else thinks that, hey, that looks cool. That is not it. And I think Wade touched on why it's important to be respectful, why it is that we treat each other a certain way, so that it is respectful. We walk away. My mother used to tell me, when you walk away, just make sure that when you do, that the person is going to look forward to seeing you again. Don't be in the present where when you walk away, they're just saying, I'm glad they're gone. Take the time to be respectful. Think about yourself as a reflection. Look at you and how is it looking in the reflection? Is it looking to be respectful, self-respect, self-discipline? But yet, there's ways to have a great life, great moments with people, and it's not by degrading or laughing at someone that is just because you talk them into it. That's not enjoyable at all. And so let's go out there and let's be respectful, teach others, lead by example, and let's continue to lift each other up. Thank you for the space, Coach and Sujata.
Thank you, Jeanette. Appreciate, I always appreciate your viewpoint, your level-headedness, and the desire to improve the status quo. So, thank you for being here and thank you for sharing your wisdom. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Bren. Good evening, Bren. Good morning. Good day.
Hello. Yes, good afternoon. 3:00. I'm sorry I've missed what your general intro was. Do you mind telling me?
Well, the general intro was rather a long-winded 7 minutes of speaking of the lack of respect in the workplace, with employees, with management to employees, and also then how are we getting creative with employees? The lack of respect for people, honoring other people's viewpoints. And when I started off, I said, here I am with Sujata, who lives in Singapore, and I'm here in Minnesota in the Midwest of the United States. And here we are having these great conversations about different viewpoints of life. And occasionally we may not be on the same page, and yet we can have a conversation using the frontal cortex in our brain versus the amygdala, which gets us into a fight, which gets us into wars, and how easy it would be if people set their monkey brains aside and their egos and their 3-year-old and 4-year-old conversations and actually went to work on looking at how to build conversation that makes a difference. And we've just been sharing some of the breakdowns, breakthroughs, and possibilities of what that might look like. Hopefully that gives you a broad stroke of opportunity to share, Bren.
Thank you for recapping. That sounds interesting. I did enjoy what the other people said. I'm sorry, I won't be able to quote them verbatim, but somebody commented about locking up people and old people and what was the word?
Oh, that was Wade.
Not
And
prisons.
Wade, he said that it's like we put old people into a stockade and lock them away instead of honoring them and sitting them down and learning from them and creating a safe creating a safe, wonderful, uplifting space for them. We stick them in a box and medicate them and throw them in a room and,
I so agree. I mean, there's cultural differences, but in general, and I've seen quite a few, we call them retirement homes or rest homes over here.
Yeah.
And I've been to quite a few, and some of them, they're just like all sitting in a lounge in a chair, and they don't even have an outside space. It's like, if you even had a garden, it would be nice just to get in touch with nature. It's my kind of thinking.
And what about having elevated gardens so that people in wheelchairs could wheel up underneath them and stick their hands in the dirt?
Yeah. It's not very creative. I think people are getting more creative, and there's those documentaries about playing music to older people and stimulating activities and fun. It's definitely, there's a movement in that direction, which is good. And then they've done the having like a kindy next door to the rest home, or having students living next door. There's been some experiments, and they've been really successful at like bridging the gap between the ages and just giving a bit more life and vitality for people in that kind of residential environment.
Yes.
I think that's really exciting. But it is a bit sad when you see the ones that aren't quite working. I remember visiting so I don't know how this has happened. I've got lots of older friends or family who've been in villages, and there was one place I went, and this couple both had Alzheimer's, and we popped in to see them, and they were holding hands in the lounge, even though they both had, lost a lot of their memory, and they were just so adorable. They just would find each other. It was just lovely, like, despite their mental limits, they still had that bond. But I remember at the same time, some staff were going past with, when people get wheeled around. I remember this guy was wheeling somebody through the living area, and he just had this air about him, like he was a little bit, I'm not sure what the word is, not aggressive, but he didn't look like the sort of person that would be very patient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And I just thought I would hate to have that guy looking after me, because I don't trust him. He doesn't look like he has any, some people you can just see on their face, they're not empathetic, they're not soft, they're not, when I find that sometimes I can tell by people's expression, like, oh yeah, that person is not, I don't know how to explain it, like the character does shine through sometimes. I just thought, I never want to be in a rest home with people like that. And then you saw that video of the old man being punched in the face by that carer maybe last year.
Oh, no, I didn't. I'm glad I didn't see that.
No. But fortunately, somebody must have been suspicious and they videoed him. But, often makes me just pray, please God, just protect people who are so vulnerable. And, quite often, I've known a few people who've had to go to villages or rest homes and get very angry with the staff or the owners or the managers because they're not doing their job. But it's like, it's a shame you even have to do that. So you do have to, even the good ones, you still got to kind of keep an eye on, because people slip and lose their focus.
Yep.
something I'm quite passionate about, and I'm not necessarily doing anything, but I do pray when I see things like, yeah, please God, just bring, some life to these people. Can't imagine what it's like. And you're talking about the workplace. Have you seen Undercover Boss?
The TV show, I think I've seen one episode, but I have not watched much of it.
Because that's something I'm interested in too, is like how hierarchies affect the people below them, like how bosses, over the years I've kind of discovered that whatever's happening at the top filters down, and you have a bad experience with a business, it's quite often because the people at the top don't care, or they're not managing something properly. So Undercover Boss, I really love it because the people at the end often get something. They obviously choose people who have got a problem in their life, and they match the undercover boss with that person. So in the end, they're going to get money or a scholarship or assistance because that's kind of part of the story. But it's amazing how many of these people cry when they're given something to acknowledge their situation. And I usually probably cry too. It just shows like how much people love to be appreciated in their jobs. But I just don't think bosses have any mindset about how individuals feel. Like, so rarely does a boss even appreciate their workers. I don't see it very often. So I think it's really important to see people as individuals, and when they do a good job, really be appreciative that they're giving so much energy and time. I mean, I've never really found that I've got a lot of positive pats on the back, and it just seems quite normal in a lot of businesses. It's not just me; it's like the whole business structure is not, they're just not geared up to reward people at the lower level. The people at the lower level are always the ones who could tell you how to make the business better, but they seem to go to consultants to find out how to make it better, and the consultants inevitably stuff it up, in my experience.
What I like are consultants or coaches that actually speak to the people in the lower.
Yeah.
I don't even call them lower. I just call them the people with their boots on the ground.
Yes, at the coalface, working at the coalface.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm quite sure if that fits into what you're talking about. But
oh, definitely. Thank you.
Just acknowledging people.
Yeah, really appreciate it,
All
Brent.
have some value, eh?
And thank you for being here and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, I will pass the mic over to the lioness. Namalokai, how are you?
Hello, my brother. I know I am. I have not been 100% coming to Clubhouse, but guess what? I would say this today. It's Good Friday, and I am doing great, and it's been a wonderful day. And I'm really grateful to be here and grateful to see all of you are still running strong. I'm so grateful, really, really grateful to everyone that is in this room, the ones who have continuously supported Coach Les, and just to come here and pour life to each other is such a blessing. So thank you, Coach Les, for opening this room. And thank you for always giving and giving and giving and giving. That's really what true servantship is. And of course, true servantship does not come without learning how to respect yourself first so you can be able to respect others. I truly believe I have been taught growing up in my culture, no matter what, I do have things that I don't appreciate of my culture, just like I'm sure some people, everybody does, things that we don't appreciate or we don't like how they're run. But what I am very grateful for is that in all cultures that I've had the opportunity and the privilege to be around, one thing that connects all of us is respect. I have not come across any culture anywhere in the world that does not teach respect. And I'm so grateful for that, because that I always tell my people that we are more alike than we know. The more truly alike that we even think of, because if you sit down right now here and ask each and every one of us a question, you're probably going to find that we have so many similar things that are just done in a different way. Just like a math, and I'm not a mathematician, so let me just I put out a disclaimer there for anybody that does not like to hear about mathematics, which we're forced to learn about mathematics, because if you're going to handle money, if you're going to live a life and even pay bills, you're dealing with math. I know, I wish I knew that when I was going to high school, because I really despised my math teacher. I respected him, but I did not like how he was treating us. So it's just like math. There's so many different ways and formulas to be able to get to the same answer. With respect, respect does not have different formulas of getting into the same answer. Respect is the same thing overboard. And so I'm very grateful to know that whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you believe spiritually, whether you're an atheist, whatever you believe in, that respect is definitely the same thing, just as love. And you cannot be able to say you love someone or you respect someone if you don't love yourself or you don't respect yourself. Because actually, what I have come to learn is love is part of respect. And respect is literally part of boundary settings. So if you would like to be able to learn, ask yourself this question. What motivates you in life? And when you ask that question is such a huge question, but people might just think it's something. I'm asking a question that what motivates you to get up out of bed. That's not what I'm asking. What motivates you, in my opinion, in life is, if you do not have something, how do you accomplish that thing? For instance, we talk about our children. We talk about how the folks who are older than me, Coach Les, talking about you for a minute. So we talk about folks like my age, Coach Les, anybody. We all talk about the younger generation does not respect. What we forget to ask ourselves, do they really know what truly respect is? Do they know? And is respect, what does respect look to them? I've been working with the younger generation of late, and I've come to realize that the way they define respect is completely different with the way me and people who are older, from the age of 40 and above, define respect. Literally, even some 30 years old and below do not define respect like the way the 40 and above years old people define respect. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I just feel like it is very important for us to check inside ourselves and really define true respect, not try to have it fit into our theory or not have it fit into our circumstances, but truly, truly, what does respect look like? Respect to me look like someone who can stand up, can be able to speak unapologetically, knowing that they don't have to be rude for them to be able to send their message. Respect to me looks like someone who genuinely loves themselves for who they are. Respect to me look like someone who is able to set up boundaries, knowing that setting up boundaries is actually part of self-love. My name's Anna Milokai. I am so glad I am back to Clubhouse, and I love and respect all of you. I am complete.
So glad to have you back, Namalakai. Thank you.
It's great to hear you, Namlakai, and thank you. It's always fun from an intellectual perspective to hear your view coming from your background, and to hear you say the one thing that's common for all countries and all walks of life is respect, is like is like this beautiful cacophony of orchestral music playing in my head, going, wow, look, see, there is, even though it's a cacophony, there's this organization to this chaos of life out there that really does have at its core heart respect. And I'm so committed to this for however long it takes to make a difference and move the needle and move the conversation forward. I thank you, Namalakai, for bringing this into and coming into our room tonight, and spending time with us. It's always a pleasure and an honor. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to pass the microphone to, and I hope I pronounce this correctly, Sega Ayalu.
Yes, Mother.
Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the room. And I think you've been here. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. And first off, if you could just share with us where you're from, with that name and the scripture that's written there that I definitely can't read in your bio. I'm eager to hear a little bit about you and your journey and your viewpoint.
Thank you for giving chance. By the way, I am afraid to join you. So worry so much because of my English not okay.
Your English is beautiful. It's
I'm from Ethiopia. Thank you.
You're from Ethiopia?
And yeah, I'm from Ethiopia.
And what is the work environment like there, and respect for employees?
I think respect is so good behavior, but in our area, respect is there is many things, but I don't know.
Well, thank you for coming up on stage, and thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions and you want to write it in the back channel, if that's easier, go ahead, and we would love for you to just be a part of what we're up to. And thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you for giving me this chance.
And your English is very good. It's very easy to understand.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the untold secret, divine purpose. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I am well. Hope everyone is doing well.
Phenomenal. Thanks for being here. I'm clear that you are a familiar person to Clubhouse, and I'd love to hear a little bit of your story and your view on this conversation.
All right, give me the topic of the conversation, and then I'll introduce myself.
All right. Okay, I'll do my best to do it in as short as I can. we're looking at what is missing in the world today in the areas where people come together, and instead of appreciating the different views of people, they go to war over a different view. Instead of coming to a table with a different view and finding collaboration, they go to war. They don't know how to communicate beyond like a 3-year-old perspective. And, you know, these people that are in these political offices where instead of learning how to communicate and how to work with each other with the frontal cortex of our brain, they choose to use the amygdala part of our brain and go to war like monkeys. And it is just so disheartening to see that with all of the technology that we have, with all of the abilities that we have to be together and grow together and learn together, we have to live in such a combative world with a lack of respect and a lack of tolerance or understanding or appreciation or empathy or understanding of another person's point of view. I talked earlier about people that come into your house and they want you to change your house to accommodate them versus them coming into your house and being respectful of your house and the invitation that you gave to them, that they accepted to come into your house. So there's a little bit, divine purpose, there's a little bit for you to play with. If you need more, let me know.
Well, I think, Coach, as you being a man of the cloth, I think we all can agree that when we took God out of everything, this world became a disaster.
Amen.
I believe, along with respect, I believe this world lacks transparency.
Oh.
Transparency shows a level of vulnerability, and we as humans do not like to show vulnerability because it shows us as weak, or we're portrayed as we're weak. But I could go on and on for days with that. But let me introduce myself, then I can get back on that topic. My name is Douglas E. Hobson. I am, Lord Jesus, I am an author, best-selling author. I am a retention specialist. I am an early childhood trauma specialist. I am a survivor of child abuse and child molestation. Trigger warning. I just wrote a book relaying my life story and how I am now setting my sights on setting the captives free. I am a nonprofit. I run a nonprofit organization called Life After the Abuse, where we help children that have been abused and parents of abused children receive free counseling. So that's my mission in life. I want to, and I'm going to, and I'm doing it now. I speak across the country, advocating for children of abuse, advocating for more funding to get children help and their parents help, because I believe that if we can change the parent, we can change the child. Our motto is building resilience and self-confidence one child at a time. So that is what our goal is. I'm actually going to go on book tour starting in June. I'll be in Houston, Dallas, Austin, North Carolina, South Carolina, New Jersey, Florida, Arizona, Phoenix, New Mexico, all over the country. But getting back to our topic, again, transparency was lacking, I believe, in America, starting with the political figures on down. I believe we have more people in office that's chasing the dollar instead of having our equal rights and our abilities to grow in common. They don't have that best interest at heart for us. Respect goes a long way. Relationship goes a long way. I'd rather have relationship than money, because relationships are more powerful than money. But I'd rather have someone respect me And, we have a saying that if you come in my house and put your feet on my coffee table, you don't respect my house. I would love for people to come into my house and I adapt to them because they are my guests. I think that, Coach, and if I'm wrong, you can correct me. But if you come to my house, I'm to adapt to you because you are my company. I invited you in because I trust you and I respect you. But when we lack respect in the household, when the mother and father don't respect each other, what do we expect our kids to do? We expect our kids to do exactly what we do because they are products of who we are. So in America, again, I just think the lack of God in everything. When we took prayer out of school and we took God out of everything, we left His covenant. We left from under the covenant of Him. And when we don't have God in anything, I think nothing works because we should put God in everything that we do. So, Coach, that's all I have to say. But I think respect and transparency is what's lacking.
Awesome. Thank you. That the transparency hit the nail, a beautiful nail that's been sticking up that escaped me in this conversation. So thank you for bringing that up and sinking it right to the head. And I'm going to pass the mic to Sujata to let her share. Go ahead, Sujata.
I really like to
Coach, before Sujata share, can I just say something to the untold story because he just literally touched my heart. Sir, thank you so much for coming to this room. I do not know that all of us really understood what you said 100%, but I want to say to you, thank you for the work that you do for survivors of all sort of violence, women, especially in children, and even men do survive abuse. As a survivor myself, I will never allow any survivor to come into my presence and I don't recognize them because I know how much courage it takes for one to step out of their not being believed, someone whose voice was taken away, someone whose choice was taken away, and then finally they got the voice back. And that's when people become unstoppable. I salute you, my brother. Thank you very, very much. I would love to connect with you when you come to Dallas. I would love to come and shake your hand and just say thank you for the work we do because a lot of people don't understand that. When children survive violence, it takes, as much as we know that children are resilient, we forget that they're damaged goods. And until that child has been validated, that's when there will be someone in the society. But without being validated and them getting their voice back, them knowing that they are not the cause of the problem, they survived. They're not victims. They survived. Then that really is the only way we can be able to help our children, women survivors, and even men survivors. We tend to focus more by calling survivors victims, and that's just victimizing them all the time. So thank you. I've looked through your bio, and I'm really, really interested in getting to get your book and learn a little more about you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is Namilokai. I'm complete.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. I think, and I just messaged you in the back channel too. Would love to connect and maybe talk about partnership with your organization there in Dallas. I think a lot of people use our stories to re-victimize the victim. Instead of calling them survivors, we re-victimize somebody because we ourselves are entrapped in the spirit of victimization. And when we don't have anybody who has successfully survived and came out and had the courage to help others come out, we are imprisoned in our mind, and that's modern day slavery. when we're in the slaves in our minds, that we cannot be victorious. So that's my goal. That's my goal with my book, with what I'm doing. I'm not just going across the country getting money and speaking gibber. I am literally giving tools of survival, tools of being free to people who need to be free, that have been enslaved in their minds for so long because of the abuse, men, women, and children. So it's time for us to step to the plate and become who we're supposed to be, and we're supposed to be victorious. I'm complete.
So I want to just I want to jump in too, Douglas, because I want to hand the mic to Sujata. For one, I think when you meet Sujata and you hear her story as well, she has a book out there, Against All Odds, and I'll let her share a little bit about it. But I think, I'm thrilled that you came on stage, and I'm thrilled that you've shared this and that you're sharing your journey and your mission and your nonprofit. And I think the biggest thing that I took away from, as I said, was the transparency and respect. And from my point of view, you mentioned a lack of God and lack of God in schools. Here's what I see about that. What I notice in you saying that, and what's there for me, is a lack of God as a supreme being that creates a level of respect for humanity and the creation of humanity. It doesn't matter who or what your God is. It's that you have the respect of God, and that you have the respect that's available by having God as a supreme being that we look up to and respect. And I think by taking God out of the schools, first of all, the minute you do that, the man of mischief, whatever that man of mischief is for whatever religion out there, has free reign in the schools, the most vulnerable place that we have, because it's our children and the minds of our children. And so the pollution that's available at that moment is accountable, I believe, for so much of what is completely unworkable in the world of integrity in our school systems today. Secondly, in the transparency piece, for me, the only way to transform is to be real, to be transparent, to be authentic, and to bring words to and bring understanding to the lack of integrity that has existed before this moment that you're speaking, and creating something new and possible. So thanks, Douglas. And with that, I'm going to hand the mic to Sujata.
Thank you, Douglas. And it struck a chord in my in whatever I wrote in my book, Against All Odds. No retakes, no manuals, real life lessons. And the story of my journey has been about transparency, about trust, and about courage, because to be vulnerable and to share, to inspire is why I wrote the book. And it has everything, that one can think of, which is why we have these discussions. To be born a woman itself has a lot of challenges. And then to be born a woman in the wrong country, though I think I should amend that, women are marginalized and disrespected everywhere in the world. Some may be more, some may be less. But having being a survivor, that, I can understand where you're coming from, and I would love to hear your share and read your book, because that's what I covered in my book. And I think I wrote it not from a perspective of being a victim, but of how even victims can have a choice. And, if they stand against all odds, then they do make a difference to people, if nothing else, by taking actions which tell people that you can stand up and not keep silent when any kind of abuse is done, whether it's mental, physical, psychological, any of it. So I really resonated with your share, and I hope to connect with you. Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, thank you again, Douglas. Appreciate your share. And it looks like we have another new person up on stage. It's Yo. Good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you are. How are you tonight? Hello, it's Yo. I know you're new. If you want to click on your little microphone in the lower right, make sure there's no line in it. And once the line's gone, we'll be able to hear you. All right. Well, let us know. Just want to be responsible. Let us know if you want to come up and share. We'd love to hear from you.
Me.
Hello? Okay, Sega,
Hello.
go ahead, Sega.
I can't talk now, but you can talk, coach, please, with you.
Go ahead to Sega.
You please talk with coach.
Yes?
You is talk. I invite him.
Okay.
You.
Yep. And
So please.
yeah, can he come off mute? Does he want to share with us?
Yes, yes.
It's Yo. Go ahead. Yo, go ahead and speak. I'm not sure if you're speaking, Yo. Your mic is still muted. So if you want to unmute your mic. All right. Well, if you do want to share, go ahead and flash your mic, Yo, and we will allow you to go ahead and share whatever it is you want to share. I do want to say Clayton Waller is not able to share at the moment, and he wasn't able to post what he has posted in the back channel to me. So I want to share this. So this is from Clayton, the gentleman that's in the coach's lounge. Philosophers have asked the question for centuries: are people naturally good or evil? I do not know the answer either, but I will say that we are misguided through misinterpreted beliefs, driven by selfish desires. As human beings, we have all at some point decided what will be our overall governance for humanity to survive. Don't kill, spread viruses, or steal. The problem now is that the evil in what was once good have found their own cheat sheet to survive. Although the solution can be as easy as empathy, some are too lost to be found. The only solution now is for the good to enforce the good in others, to adapt or compromise without getting lost. The weight of good will always balance the chaos of evil. It is designed like this for humanity's sake. How can we feel if we have never experienced? How can we know if we were never taught? How can we change if we are unaware? We, the good, must carry the weight for humanity's sake. And that's from Clayton in the Coach's Lounge, he's not able to come up and share given where he's at, but he did share that in a message, and he had tried it earlier in one part of the audience and wasn't able to share, so he wrote it here to me. He had tried to put it in the main posting area, and it didn't work. So thank you, Clayton. Thank you for sharing that with us. Really appreciate it. Yo, are you available to chat? Were you able to figure out the mic? All right. Well, I'd like to just take one more moment before we move on. I'd like to take a moment to just pop in on Dawn. Hi, Dawn. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, and I'm really enjoying this conversation and everybody's different contribution to the conversation. It's I feel blessed to be here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Just want to continue to look and see what might be available and what might be open. Sujata, any thoughts for where you'd like to go next? I know we're kind of at the top of the hour.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I shall think about it, because this was a great room with lots of different shares which I liked, and I shall think about it and then figure out what we can talk next Friday.
So thank you all. I want to make sure and just open the mic up if there's anybody else that would like to say anything before we close down the podcast until next week. But I am just really privileged and honored to be here with each of you, each of your conversations, each of your shares. It has been tremendously educational and eye-opening, and this is what I love about this format. And I thank you for all of the differences that you've shared. For us to be able to come together on this platform is a miracle. So I'm going to just I can't mute my mic, but I'm going to just pause talking. And if anybody would like to jump in, now's your chance.
Coach, I want to say happy Holy Weekend to all of you who observe this weekend as a holy weekend. And I want to challenge all of us to check through our heart. Tomorrow is a new moon. And what that implies to me as a believer is that today is when, for the ones who believe in Christian religion, is when Jesus Christ, Son of Mary, was crucified. And he was crucified, and all of the pains that everyone, including you and me, who believe in that, they were all buried with him. And on Sunday, he will raise clean, like a clean slate, literally opening a brand new chapter, knowing that anything that happened today, going backwards, it's all cleansed and completely cleansed, clean like just a white piece of paper that you have to start a chapter. It's the same thing with the moon. Today, the moon is going to be a big moon. It's going to be the big red moon. And it's happening at a wonderful time when we are all celebrating. So look through that moon today. Look at your heart and literally search that heart for you. And align yourself with the truth about yourself, the truth about what you were really created to do in this world, and knowing that whatever might have affected you came to be able to teach you a lesson in this world. Learn from that lesson. It never broke you. What those lessons did, they gave you opportunity to live a better life and to be able to pursue. So I send love with all of you as I end, and I ask all of you, the best thing that you could do is to find love within yourself first. Because guess what? Our Creator loves us 100%. And we are the image of our Creator. So if you do not love yourself, you do not love your Creator, because you are fully image of yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror tonight and tell yourself, you're love, you're light, and you are surrounded with love. This is Namilokai. I'm complete.
Thank you, Namalokai. And once again, I open the mic up to anybody that would like to share before we close.
Me, I want to thank you all of you, and I respect you, all of you. God bless you. I love you.
Sega, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for sharing your time with us and being brave to come up. And once again, your English is beautiful.
Well, I would like to say God bless each and every one of you that are in the room. May this week be prosperous. I love and respect each and every one of you in your respective places. And remember, if you don't do anything else, pay it forward to somebody else, because you never know what someone is going through.
Douglas, please check and respond to your back channel message. Thank you.
Hopefully you heard that, Douglas. That was Sujata asking to.
What did you say?
She asked to if you would check your back channel so that you can respond to her message from to you.
Okay, I'm doing it right now.
Awesome. And Douglas, thank you so much for being here. To each of you, Clayton, thank you. Oh, Miss Lady Blue, I apologize. I didn't see you down there. If you'd like to come up and share before we close the doors. I just sent you an invite. Would love to have you come up and share. And if not, thank you. Oh, there she is. Hello, good evening. How are you, Miss Lady Blue?
Hello, good evening. I'm great, thank you.
Thank you so much for stopping. Thank you so much for stopping by. Did you want to chime in on the topic and share with us?
I just popped in, so I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see you, so I apologize. I just wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to come up and share. I can give you a quick recap if you'd like.
Yes, please.
All right. We're talking about respect in the workplace and the opportunity in the world that we currently live in, where the prevailing wind and the conversation tonight is respect is missing in the world. Transparency is missing. The ability to treat people with common courtesy common respect, both in the workplace, in your own home, in business, and allow people to have their point of view without coming to war, and yet finding that there's a respect level that's inherent in every single culture, and respect level that's inherent in every single country. So we were just sharing each of our views, a little bit about workplace, family, personal journey, and personal missions, and our interest in global impact from whatever we've chosen to take on transforming in the world. So it's a broad swipe of what we've been talking about, Miss Lady Blue. And the mic is yours to share whatever you would wish to share.
Okay, well, thank you so much again. Good evening, everybody. It's a topic that I wish I would be there earlier. So it touched close to the principle of my life. So I do have a good opinion about it, but I'll keep it short because I'm the last one. First of all, let me present myself. My name is Miss Lady Blue. I'm a hair therapist. I live in Montreal, Canada. My origins are from Haiti, but I was raised in Brooklyn, and then I came into Montreal. And so the meaning of respect and the meaning of transparency and courtesy, I received it, I think, in my country, that is Haiti. And what I remember and what I cherish, and I still hope it would come back, is that whenever I would walk or meet somebody that we don't know or cross the street, whenever you had eye contact, you would at least say a hello or a good evening. Sometimes I do see it in other islands when I go visit and traveling, but I saw especially in America, United States and Canada, we're losing that. We're losing the courtesy of just holding the door for a lady or for an elder. We're losing the manners just to be sure that, okay, I don't know, a purse or something fell on the floor, and you could reach out and you see an elder who's not, capable of picking it up. And so I think more and more we're losing it because we're afraid. We're afraid to be attacked. We're afraid to be judged. Or we're just afraid because we're scared of people being jealous. Especially in the work field that I am. I'm a hair therapist, but I started out as a hairstylist. And so in beauty industry and fashion industry, there's a type of jealousy where you don't respect the people that were there before you because you always want to challenge them. So unfortunately, I do see it. And unfortunately, I think it's not gonna change. It's gonna get worse. The individuality of people, of the society, the individuality that the internet, how you say that, everything that is computer, everything that is Ubered, everything that is, I could do it by myself, everything that could say, oh, I am better than the other, is more increasing than the community and the unity and even family, even having kids. And so I find that very unfortunately, but we could still, as an individual, make a difference. And that's what I implicate in my life every day. And I try to do it around me, even though people won't respond to me when I walk outside. If I have an eye contact with you, I do say hello or good evening. And if I could help you, even a stranger, I will help you. If I have a $5, I will give it. If I could say hi to you, I will. If you need a prayer and you're crying outside, I will stop. And I do expect people around me to do the same as much as possible. And for the jealousy at work, well, I do believe that there's a saying in French that says, "Tu sèmes qu'est-ce que tu récoltes." That means that I think in English, you sow what you reap. So I try best of myself to bring the people that has the same principle around me, and not bring the individuality, but bring the community. And so by doing those little steps, maybe we could do a little change around ourselves. But unfortunately, for the society and the world that is coming in, I don't know if it's gonna work out. But it's unfortunate, but it's a reality now. So I'm done with the perspective of the conversation, and that's my little 2 cents of it. Thank you for having me.
Lady Blue, thank you so much. And it's great to meet you. Moi, je peux parler français. J'ai habité en France pour 3 ans et j'aime beaucoup Haïti.
Vous avez un très bon accent. Vous parlez très bien français.
Merci beaucoup. J'étais là quand j'étais 8 ans à 11 ans à une petite ville d'Yvonne-les-Bains, c'est en France, c'est près de Genève, en Suisse. J'allais à l'école à Versoix, en Suisse, chaque journée. Et j'habite. Mon père, il a travaillé pour Control Data Corporation. Et on est venu ici en Amérique en 1975. Et j'allais en Haïti pour 3 missions. Et maintenant, j'étudie la Bible chaque vendredi à 12 heures avec 4 très bons amis en Haïti sur Zoom.
Jusqu'à maintenant, vous faites ça?
Oui.
Vous êtes...
Okay, we're leaving now. We're leaving now.
No, Bren. So I was just saying that every Friday I do Bible study with 4 gentlemen in Haiti. Miss Lady Blue had mentioned that she's from Haiti, and it's I've been there on missions trips 3 times and absolutely love it. And
wow.
I'm absolutely blessed to have been able to make a difference there. I've had 2 trips canceled because of COVID, which has really put the kibosh on mission work in Haiti, and then also the political upheaval and the assassination of the president really upset the government system, and so it's been a tough.
You should do an English room, 2 of you, and share about your experience
with Haiti. Yeah, it's
interesting. I do find it hard to keep track on. I don't know about others, but the Clubhouse, I've suggested to them do a calendar, like a weekly calendar with a grid, because I find it very hard to keep up with what days things are on, because it's a long list. It's hard for me to scroll through the long list and get in my brain.
I understand.
It's so interesting, but I can't always be there.
Yeah, it is. It's a very. I mean, there's a long list of beautiful rooms on Clubhouse. I mean, there's some that you never want to go into, but there's a long list of rooms that do offer a lot of value. The best thing I can suggest, Bren, is, for instance, when you go up to the little green bean up at the top of the room.
Oh, yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
But even they just come randomly, and I'm like not ready because of the time zones. It can be. It's not just like it's your evening, it could be all day. So it's a little bit different than just having a 3-hour window, which I would just pop in and out of.
Yeah, there is
So I
definitely
might have to get a diary.
there's definitely do you use a calendar on your mobile phone?
No, I don't. I use it on my computer, but I might have to just bite the bullet.
What kind of phone do you have?
I've got a Huawei smartphone.
If you go to Gmail and go into Gmail and use Google Calendar, most phones will sync.
Oh, yeah. I know how to use it. I just resist having all my information on, I might just get a separate calendar that's not linked to Google.
Well, you can make a separate Google Calendar, but you can link it and unlink it just to see how it overlaps if you have to.
Yeah, I could use another email address. It becomes overwhelming, because I would like to just have a calendar that just has the Clubhouse stuff, because it's a little bit, then I can just glance at each week.
Yeah, so if you go to Gmail and you open Calendar, you can make a separate calendar on the left-hand side. You could call it Clubhouse, make it show up. You could make it show up in red, and you can put it so that it goes over your work and personal calendar, and then take it away. You can put it in and out without letting it stay there. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I could try that. My phone does have a calendar I haven't actually looked at. I could also try that. Could I just share something about the topic as well?
Of course, please.
Well, from all the comments, it has been so interesting, and I just was thinking, I suppose part of respect, it's so true. We're not respecting people in general, and children don't appreciate the elders, and sometimes we just forget that what people are going through stuff, and it's easy to just be like, oh, you're so annoying because your behavior is a certain way, but really there's a deeper issue. And I think for us as parents, it's so important. I must remember to remind my son of, you've got to slow down and respect, I guess, building it into their character over time, because it doesn't come naturally. And what the lady was saying about walking down the street, in New Zealand, people generally will say hello, not all the time. But I wonder if it's just that people are just so wrapped up in themselves, they don't want to think with empathy, or, they don't even want to look at someone who's hurting and take a minute to see if they're all right. It's just so self-centered.
Well,
and it takes a bit of maturity to realize, doesn't it, that actually that person might need a hand.
Yeah. I think Bren too, our smartphones have really created this bubble around us.
Definitely.
I mean, if you
sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, if you notice people walking down the street, I mean, I do this.
Oh, even children. Little children. I'm just so angry. Like, these parents, they're pushing a pushchair and they're on their phone walking down the street. It's like, can't you spend a moment with your child and just be in the moment?
Yeah.
I don't use my smartphone as a phone. It's just a device. So I actually have an old phone, so I can't spend as much time. I do spend probably too much time, but it's Wi-Fi only, so I do it does limit me a little bit, but it doesn't suit everybody.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I mean, the world now expects you to be in communication quickly with clients and with and potential.
Everything is filtered through something digital now. I was just thinking, everything we do now is filtered through a screen, pretty much.
Yep. I've got 9 hours a day logged in every day.
And you do a lot of rooms, don't you? So
yeah.
Yeah. I was going to do a room and read a book, but now I've kind of lost the motivation.
Well, I do that
Too busy enjoying other people's rooms.
I do that every Thursday night. Come and listen.
Yes, I heard your first one, but then I see again the calendar. I need to have it somewhere that's easy to look at. So I'll look into that. Thank you.
Yeah, we're actually doing a book, Focus on Healing by Dr. Sarita. Charlene Johnson.
Oh, yes. That's right. I joined last time. It was really good. I need to lock it into my new calendar.
And we'll be doing, I've got a couple of books. We did one the other night, just kind of a pop-up room, and read the first 2 chapters of Sujata's book, Wink. It's a little short novel on a mystery, and it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to read that. That's one of the things that I do. So, the other thing too, Bren, is you can click on, like on me, and hit the little bell, and whenever I come on, you'll be told what I'm doing.
Yeah, but the problem is then I haven't looked at the phone, and I'm like, oh, missed that room. Okay, or it's nearly finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will have to. I'll have to do some sort of a proper calendar so I can just look at it quickly. But I've asked Clubhouse, please make a grid calendar so it's a bit easier.
Yes, and there's many of that, and there's the other thing is people I've been asking Clubhouse, let us copy so we don't have to recreate the room from scratch every week.
Yeah, and just get it up a recurring meeting.
Yeah, the problem with that is that requires a lot of digital memory and there are so many rooms that go to waste when it doesn't work, and then nobody goes and erases it. So there'd be all this tied up memory to all these rooms in the future that have no existence.
But I guess you could have a timeout, like it's just for 1 month at a time.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I was going to read The Happy Prince because I love that book. It's
Oh,
very short.
It's a great book.
Yeah. So I'll put that on hold. Do you think it would help? I'm sorry, everybody.
No.
This is a bit off track. Do you think it would help if Clubhouse had a waiting room? Because I feel a bit sorry for people. If you're setting up a room and you're waiting for people to arrive, no one wants to go to the room that has one person in it. So I was thinking if they had, so not no one, sometimes you don't want to, but if they had a waiting room where you're there, but it hasn't started, but it says like, we'll be starting in 5 minutes, at least you'd know you've got some people ready to go, and then you could open the room, like with Zoom. Do you think that would be helpful?
It presents an issue because the technology with Zoom works great, but it doesn't have the capacity for millions of 1,000 people. So whatever Clubhouse is doing, it has the capacity to manage the volume of people that go through and into rooms.
But usually when you start a room, there's only a few people. But could you not have it so that when the first 5 people arrive, then you don't leave it till there's hundreds of people, but just to start with, so that you're not all just chatting, waiting for everyone to arrive.
Right. Well, so one of the things about the big rooms, some of the big clubs like OG and the Hustler and these clubs, when they open a room, there's 250 people in the room the minute they open it.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I'm just a small club. The Ziegler Legacy isn't even 1,000 yet. The 24-hour Bible study is almost 9,000, and it still has a pause.
Yeah.
So it takes something to get
just get people.
Yep. And to get it up and running, so to speak.
Okay.
So,
well, that's good to know.
Well, listen, I'd love to stick around. Bren, you can reach out to me, back channel. Would love to connect with you. Miss Lady Blue would love to connect with you also. Thank you, Brother Wade. Thank you. It's Yo. Thanks, Clayton. Just beautiful, beautiful share in the back channel. I look forward to you being able to come into the room and be on stage. Dawn, you're amazing. Thank you so much for getting us started today. And I want to thank everybody, and specifically Sujata, thank you.
Thank you, Coach Les. I should thank you.
It takes a village for all of us. Just love that. And
Yeah, but there are not many like you, Coach Les. There are not many. I wish there were more, but there are not many like you who's always giving, and supporting and promoting others selflessly.
Yeah, I agree. And
Yes,
you're always
thank you.
nice. You're always nice to people. Make them feel included.
well, it's God's gift. That's all I can say, is that God has given me that that ability, and I cherish it and use it as much as I can so it doesn't go to waste. And love to be here. Love to make a difference. Don't forget tomorrow night. Sunday night, if you are looking for an accountability partner, I have an accountability room. That is, if you look into my bio, go to 24-hour Bible study. There's an accountability room. And what it is you come in and I hold the space for what it is you want to accomplish for the week. It's free. So literally you could say, hey, look, I have an accountability coach, because you come in and you share with me what you want me to hold you accountable. And
That's a good room. I like that room. It's really helpful. Unfortunately, I went on holiday, so I was disappointed because I was driving. I was looking forward to coming and telling you I met a lot of goals, but I can tell you next week. It's like really bummed out. It's like, no, the one group I remember every week. It's the only one.
Well, you could come in this week. You can come in 2 days and share with us. We'll still clap and be happy for you, even though it's 2 weeks old.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be there. It's Monday for me, so it's easy to remember.
There you go. It's Monday for Sujata as well.
All right.
All right. Well, Sujata has to go to lunch, and we've got to. I've got to get the dogs walking, and we've got to close up. And I just appreciate this extra time that we've spent together. And Miss Lady Blue, thank you so much. That was a beautiful way to end, to have you come in and share what you shared. I love to end on a high note. So thank you again, Miss Lady Blue. I look forward to connecting. And with that, I'm going to just do what I always do, and that is this room will self-destruct in 5, 4.
Oh, Les, I was going to suggest maybe you could get a bot coach, Les, so we know that it's you, but it's not you, for your alter ego.
Oh, there we go.
You have your multiple selves.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, here we go. Here comes a little noise.
Coaching with Les has doubled my practice.
If you have any struggles in your business or your personal life, Les is your guide.
He's logical, he's empathetic, he has passion for helping people, and his ideas are genuinely thoughtful.
So if you're looking for a business coach with integrity, choose Les Hill.